Hello, and welcome to, once again, Why Live? How exciting. Third Thursday of every month. We do it at 4 o'clock, so happy that you could join us, whether you're watching as this plays or sometime into the future. How exciting. Today, I was just kind of reflecting on my process and how I'm doing this and how wonderful it is that I get to have my writing of these talks just built into my work week. It is always a rare moment of peace and calm in a typically very busy schedule. So I'm just reflecting on that as I was writing this, and just so happy to be here in November and December, which have, if you didn't already know, a couple major holidays that always kind of orient how my talk and what I am focusing in on. Of course, it comes with its own unique challenges to not say things that you've already heard a million times. But it's still nice to be able to look forward to the holidays and all the joy and all the craziness that can bring. So last year, this time, talking about Thanksgiving, I was talking about this idea of returning home. As a reminder, the busiest travel days in the US are the Wednesday before Thanksgiving and the Sunday after, as people are traveling home, whether that's their hometown that they grew up in or friends and family, the people that they can call home. And I think that's just such a wonderful thing as we think about Thanksgiving and think about next week. I love this idea of who is home for you. And again, I talked about this last year, so I won't hammer it home. But it is this question, this idea that encapsulates what Thanksgiving is to me. And I think that's why it's potentially my favorite holiday in the year, because of what it represents and the rituals that are associated with it. You know, it's not a time where I have to worry about giving gifts or receiving gifts. I don't have to hustle and find a place to watch fireworks. I don't have these grand expectations of what the day should be or needs to be, but it's a more mellow holiday. Instead of these crazy things that we get to focus on, the three best F words being friends, food, and family. Don't ask me what my fourth one is. But as we're thinking of Thanksgiving, and as I'm writing this, it just had me thinking about just the general state of humanity and the state of the church and what we could be missing out on, what I would love to see incorporated more. And it's, to me, feels encapsulated in this idea of what we do for Thanksgiving. This spending time together over a meal as the pinnacle moment of the day. I think being able to spend a meal with someone is one of the best things that we can do. And how great is it that there are 3 built-in opportunities every day to engage in this practice of sharing a meal and breaking bread with another person. All of these things, of course, coming from a hardcore introvert. So these meals obviously don't have to be grand tables with 30 plus people sitting around in a loud cacophony of sounds and chewing and knives hitting plates. But it could simply be with one other person, even just getting coffee in these quiet moments that during the day where we get to recharge both physically as we're consuming food and spiritually as we're connecting with another person. You know, we have paintings like The Last Supper, and the early church even based its meetings around food. Every time that they came together, they broke bread, and they called it a love feast. And I just love that image of these people in the early church coming together, sitting in one another's houses, and sharing food together. I saw a joke kind of referencing Old Testament holidays. The joke being, they tried to kill us, they failed, so let's eat. And as much of a joke as that is, I do think it rings kind of true, that the highs and lows of the year, we get to commemorate all of them. And we get to be thankful for all of these joyous memories that bring a smile to our face. And we can be proud of the difficult things that we have overcome. And I love that we have this ritual every single year of sitting down at Thanksgiving and being grateful for all that the year was, because it was a moment that we got to live and embody and be. And we are still breathing here today as we smile at the fond memories, and we can be proud of ourselves for the hardships that we have overcome. And as I kind of think about all of these things coming together, I'm reminded of one of my favorite quotes from a professor, Mary Glenn, at Fuller Seminary. And she was talking about this idea of faith, justice, and peace, and how do we bring about these three things in the world. Her point being that when we focus on each thing individually or even corporately, it's hard. There's a struggle to see these three things come to fruition. What she said is that achieving these three things of faith, justice, and peace, they don't happen by focusing on the individual. Instead, it happens when you focus on kinship, this idea of knitting your community together and seeing your neighbors, the physical space that you encapsulate, where your house is or your apartment is and where you are living, the people living near you, seeing them as part of your inner circle and growing those connections to the people who physically live near you. Because if you're friends with your neighbors who are most likely look different than you, think different than you, and have completely different experiences from what you have experienced, creating those connections means that you want justice, you want peace in their lives. And this fuller view of what peace and justice can mean for people who come from different backgrounds. And from there, we get to share our faith. And we get to share our faith within one another and our faith in a higher power. So this is why I love Thanksgiving. It's why I love November. It's why I'm so excited for next week. And I hope that you're starting to feel these feelings as well. It's this representation of kinship and the yearly reminder of how powerful sharing a meal with someone can be. So I hope that you are able to enjoy these meals with your friends and with your family. I hope you're able to look for ways to broaden your kinship circles and to expand compassion, love, and thankfulness to all the people that are around you. And I hope we can practice that in this week leading up to this holiday that encapsulates all of these things, that we can take a moment, breathe, and be thankful for the people sitting across the table from us. And that's all I got. Thanks for listening.